What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and today we're going to talk about I've been quiet for all this time because I wanted to see how the first preseason game was going to go, because of course I'll have my coaches show coming up soon, but we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, the thing that matters the most right now. And that thing that matters the most right now is how bad that offensive line looked. We all knew that this offensive line wasn't that good, but we didn't realize how much it was going to hinder us down the line. I mean, you're talking about Sadiq Charles, who's been injured for so much. He was a guy that, for me, everything about him screamed that he was going to be this great offensive lineman. And you're talking about he's just injured so much. And I just don't see him being able to succeed in the NFL because he's never available. But in the sense of what happened, I mean, we saw this offensive line not do well. Like, we really did see this offensive line not play well. I mean, you're talking about at the point that Sam Howell was in the game, he was 4 for 5 at that point, and for only 20 yards. And it wasn't that good. Then you're talking about they had a 3 and out, and on third down, they got a safety. The Cleveland Browns got themselves a safety on a 3 and out on a third down play. So this offensive line is a problem, and they need to really think about what they're going to do down this line, because again, you're talking about there are things they're going to have to do. There are things they're going to have to really look at. I mean, you're talking about they're going to have to look at the factor of, okay, you got guys out there like Jamarco Jones, the one who got released from Tennessee. Dalton Risner is still out there. You got Justin Pugh. You got Taylor Lewan. You got my man James. I can't something James. He's still out there. You know, like, you got quality offensive linemen. Now, I don't know what their injuries are, if they are injured or what's going on, but you're talking about at where this line currently is, it's not good enough to be sitting up in here and competing against other defensive fronts in the NFL. Because we're sitting here, what we saw today, we saw Cleveland's defense basically kind of shut the offense out. I mean, like I said, yeah, Sam Howell was 4 for 5 but he was 4 for 5, but he only had 20 yards at that point. And then, like I said, they had a 3 and out. And then when the offense started to have success, Cleveland had already taken out all of their starters. Every single starter was out of the game. So to me, it's one of those things where what we all were concerned about is showing itself. This offensive line is not good enough, and they need to do something immediately to shore it up. The tackles aren't good enough. The guards aren't good enough. I mean, it's just, what are we going to do when the season comes around? I mean, what are we going to do? There were some goods, but even with that being said, you're talking about how good is the good. Like, we see that teams are doing exactly what they did last year with Cam Curl. They look for Cam Curl, and they run the opposite way of Cam Curl. They're running a lot of their routes opposite of Cam Curl. They try their best to stay away from Cam Curl's side because he not only helps on plays, but he assists on plays. A prime example is we saw Emmanuel Forrest make a big play in the backfield. Well, guess who was right beside him? Cam Curl. So again, it's a lot of stuff. It's stuff to be kind of okay about, but right now we're talking about the biggest thing that we were talking about was this offensive line, and things like that. And what we currently see is that this offensive line may be a problem long term, because again, they're not shoring up the blocks like they're supposed to, and that's not good. Then on the defensive side of the ball, you did see Deshaun Watson march 90 yards down the field and then had the audacity to go for it on 4th and goal, which again isn't a problem, but still, the fact that they felt that they could do that after they done marched themselves all the way down the field, that was a huge sign of disrespect. But the defense stood up and they came through. Chase Young, sound like he had a neck injury. Hopefully that's not the case, because we do need him this year. Again, like I said, for me, wasn't the best showing for the offense. Well, not necessarily the offense. The offensive line wasn't the best showing for the offensive line. The defense didn't look too sharp when it came to letting Cleveland go down that 90 yards. And again, this is the same Cleveland team they saw in last season, and it hasn't really changed up much, except for Zadarius Smith is now there. But again, you're still talking about the fact that here we are again, and your opportunity to make a statement or do something, and to me, it wasn't as impressive as people wanted it to be. Like I said, again, the offense started to take a step forward. They got a touchdown and all that, but this was during the time where we saw the backups in the game for Cleveland. So, not as impressed as I wanted to be. We will definitely see what happens. I will be coming to you guys more often now, because, like I said, I wanted to give it some time just to see the first preseason game, to really see if my thoughts and assessments are what I think that they are. And I'm starting to see that a lot of the things that I thought before the preseason game are actually things that I'm seeing as the preseason game go on. Quan Martin didn't show up until late in the game. Terrell Burgess is on this team, which is like, wow, because I remember a long time ago, everybody was talking about him, and I was telling people that he's not, because I think it's either Burgess, I think it was, he played opposite of Justin Blackman at Utah. I think that was him. But I told people then, like, he wasn't the best safety. It was Justin Blackman. Justin Blaylock. Justin Blackman. But anyway, like I said, y'all, it's just, wasn't too impressed with the offensive line. Very disappointed. They need to go out there and show up this offensive line, because there's no way we're going to be able to compete in especially with the schedule that we see this year. When you talk about seeing that NFC West and the AFC East, we can't be playing around like this, especially with the offensive line. So again, we'll definitely see how this goes. I'm concerned. I don't know how much everybody else is concerned, but we'll see in this next preseason game if Washington gets better, if Washington does something to shore up this offensive line. Because right now, I don't see it. I don't know how they're going to get better unless they start bringing guys in. Like I said, I just railed off some guys. Dalton Risner is still out there. Jamarco Jones, the one who just got released from Tennessee. You got Justin Pugh, Taylor Lewan. Again, I don't know if any of these guys are injured, but again, you're talking about, you got sure things that if they're not injured, you're talking about proven veterans in this league that could help us immediately. And you're talking about like a Taylor Lewan. He played in that Kansas City offense. So again, we need to find ways to make this work because, again, right now it looks sloppy. It doesn't look good, and I'm concerned. Y'all tell me what y'all think. What were your biggest takeaways from the preseason game 1? Other than that, this has been your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.